Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we will be looking at a subject that can feel a little wordy and intimidating, but don't worry, everything will be explained in plain and simple English. Welcome to Quantitative Research. We will look at what quantitative research is, how it is applied in nursing, and finally we will evaluate the benefits and challenges of the field. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Quantitative research is using primary data to synthesize statistical analysis.
Quantitative research is essentially researching numbers. We look at a whole bunch of different numbers and we look for three things: trends, patterns, and relationships. Even if you think that quantitative research is not your cup of tea, I can guarantee you that there will be an aspect of your life that is governed by quantitative research.
My explanation was better.
Have you ever checked a review for a product and found that a rating of 4.6 out of 5 over 1,000 reviews might make you more inclined to buy said product? You are using quantitative research. If you use a certain app for planning a route that gives you a journey time based on traffic, this is also quantitative research. If you use a certain app for running and want to get better with your speed and time, you are using quantitative research. Because numbers are everywhere. So is quantitative research.
It is a systemic approach predicted upon positivist epistemology that seeks to quantify, classify, measure, and statistically analyze the extensive, objective, and quantifiable elements that... I was not finished.
Cross-sectional studies are used to create a snapshot of a particular population, group, or phenomenon at a single point in time. For example, you could do a cross-section study of rates of lung disease in Inner Manchester. The data would be only correct to that point in time, not before or after. Experimental research involves randomizing participants to either a treatment group or a control group, and the participants do not know which group they are in. For example, if we said drug X could help treat condition Y, we would need to have a large group of people with condition Y who would either get drug X, that's the treatment, or a sugar pill that did nothing, that's the control. These sorts of interventions would be known as randomized controlled trials. Quasi-experimental research is when you have a study, but you do not randomly assign the participants. For example, if you were studying the efficacy of a pre-existing app that reminds people to take their medication at certain times, then the people who were using the app would already be selected and would not be randomized. The challenge of this type of quantitative research is that it has the risk of becoming biased. Correlational research is when we want to research the relationship between two or more variables. For example, if we wanted to see if there was a relationship between rates of pollution and rates of lung disease in a built-up area, we would use correlational research. Okay, take a deep breath. The P in p-value stands for probability. This means how likely something is to happen. The null hypothesis is basically saying that the intervention you are carrying out will make no difference. For example, if I said that I could do a backward somersault and not fall on my head because of a new technique that I had learnt, the null hypothesis would be that the new technique does not work and therefore I am likely to fall on my head. If I did a perfect backward somersault and landed on my feet, the p-value would be low because the probability of the technique not working is low, because it worked. However, if I did fall on my head, the p-value would be high because the null hypothesis is true, and therefore the technique did not work. The confidence interval is a way of demonstrating how confident you are that the data you've collected will fall within a certain range. For example, if you took 100 people who have had the same operation and asked them all to say how long their recovery time was. You then took those numbers and calculated the average, which was 10 days. You could then quite confidently say that the recovery time falls within 9 to 11 days. If we are that confident, we would say that the confidence interval is 95% sure that the recovery time is in between 9 and 11 days. One of the main benefits of quantitative research is that it is mostly what we call empirical knowledge, meaning that it cannot be disagreed with. Numbers are what they are, they don't tend to change. If 76% of the UK admits that they have a takeaway more than once a week, then 76% of the UK have admitted that they have a takeaway more than once a week. Another benefit is that you can research a larger group using quantitative methods rather than using qualitative. Using a simple survey, you can quickly get information from a large group and use a computer to process the results. If your research is about different types of experiences people have with a particular health service, then quantitative research is not your friend. Quantitative research does not tell the whole story. Of course, the subject of research will dictate whether it's quantitative or qualitative, or sometimes both. Providing the topic of research is appropriate, quantitative research is a practical and useful tool for accessing and analysing data, both big and small. Join us in the next video, in which we will look at pain management and the ladder of analgesia. Until then, it's bye from Loki, bye from Ophelia, and bye from me, the eccentric nurse cat dad.